This week, I found a really interesting game. Their ecosystem has a completely unique concept and use case for its characters, which may very well end up ushering in the next generation of NFTs. Welcome, I'm Eric, and this is the channel where I do the research so you don't have to. Today, we're going to look at a platform called Hashland and its first game called Hash Warfare. We're going to get into Hash Warfare, but first, I want to talk about Hashland and what's so amazing about their NFTs, which are more than just characters for their game. Everything's timestamped below, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to discover more games. All right, first we need to talk about their NFTs. What's so special about them? They're not just characters used in the game. There's an extra purpose. These NFTs not only represent a playable character, but they also represent ownership to a certain Bitcoin mining hash rate. So by staking these NFTs, you can actually earn Bitcoin. That's crazy. There isn't too much detail into the specifics, but basically it seems like all the hash rate this company has mining Bitcoin gets distributed between the 60,000 cards that can be produced. Not all cards have the same hash rate, and you get extra hash rate if you combine and upgrade your cards. So the hash rate you do have isn't fixed. So let me kind of show you what I've done right now. Well, first off, so if you go to the marketplace, you can see that you can sort by hash rate. It's hard to read on here, but you can see that small Bitcoin symbol, and you can see that there is a number indicating the rate that it mines Bitcoin. So I purchased one for $100. If you just scroll down one, you can see it gets as low as $100. The floor is 93. Let me show you what happens after you purchase. It'll show up in your wallet, and you drag it down to your slotted cards, which again are staking. So right now I have this lady staked. She definitely needs a better name. But if you scroll below that, once it's staked, you can see that they have an annual ROI at current hash rate. And for a $100 card, it's a return on $28.3, which 28%. Every once in a while, it appears down here, the claimable Bitcoin that's being mined, and I'm assuming this is wrapped Bitcoin. But being in the Binance ecosystem, it's easy to unwrap that Bitcoin if you want to. If you upgrade your cards, you can actually earn their native token, the HC Hashland Coin token as well. But since my card's a basic level, there's no income being generated from that section. This is kind of the fee schedule for how much everything costs, or how much the NFTs cost to upgrade. So for example, if you want to upgrade your level 1 cards to a level 2, you need to combine 4 level 1 cards plus spend 4 of their platform token, Hashland Cash, in order to get that level 2. The benefits of doing that is that not only are those 4 hash rates combined, but you also get a little multiplier bonus to that hash rate as well. So that's why they tell you the multiplier is going to be 100% to 110%. So it's randomized. And what happens is, because of the fact that all that fixed, from as far as I can tell, it's a fixed hash rate that everyone is splitting up. So by upgrading your card, you're earning a bigger portion of that max hash rate. So for the people that aren't upgrading their cards, they'll see that their return is going to slowly drop the more these people are upgrading their cards, because they're getting that bonus. So I really wish I could talk more about the whole Bitcoin mining aspect of these NFTs, but there really isn't much more documentation kind of outside of what I was talking about, at least in their white paper. And I tried looking in Medium articles to look at more, but it's really hard to find anything else. But the concept itself is really cool, and I felt like that was something to highlight just because it brings a whole new use case to NFTs. But yeah, let's look at the Hashland game called Hash Warfare. All right, so from their homepage, in order to play the game, you go to their GameFi, and they say, "Welcome to Hash Warfare." They have a little trailer here, so let's check it out. As you can see, right now, it's in their beta stages. The public release is supposed to be in the Q1 of 2022, so it's coming up soon. All right, so here we go. You can see the game is like an action style game. It's going to be on mobile and PC. There isn't too much gameplay here, but they have a YouTube channel, so you can kind of see what's going on there. All right, so here's a little more of the gameplay. You can see this guy's... All right, well, he's just walking around. Let's go to... The world looks nice, though. It's in this YouTube version, which got released in November 30th. It's a lot smoother than what was going on in that embedded video in their website. So here's a look at the fighting. So you can see that there's a team of... So the heroes, they have their own unique ability. You know, pretty standard. You got your tank, you got your healer, you got your assassin, you got your mage. And what you're going to need to do is pretty much accomplish daily quests as well as seasonal tasks, or maybe there's seasonal leaderboards, and you're going to get diamonds, which you convert to that HC token. And they kind of talk about how the seasonal rewards are distributed and some of the modes. So you have your main story mode, and you also have your player versus player mode, which is not going to be coming out in the immediate future. The first thing will be the story mode. So kind of summarizing up the game, the graphics are kind of PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 style, but at least based on the most recent YouTube videos, they're at least the animation and movement is really smooth, which is probably the more important aspect of that game. There really isn't much other information right now about like the whole armor system and weapon system, but they did mention in the white paper that you want to upgrade your characters. So I'm sure there is going to be those kind of aspects in this game. It's just not very well documented. All right, let's look at the token information now. So Hashland Coin, HC, right now it's at $80, shot up about 20% from yesterday. Today's the 22nd of December, just FYI. There are 21 million produced in total, and right now there's a fully diluted market cap of around 1.7 billion, which feels pretty high compared to the fact that there is no game. Well, there's the beta, but it's not released to the public yet. But you know, that kind of shows that this game does have a lot of hype. One thing to note, there's relatively low volume, especially compared to the market cap. So this token can be it seems like it will be pretty volatile based on that low volume. Another thing I wanted to show you was that this token was released in late November, at around $550, and you could see that since then it's just been steadily, well, it initially started dropping like crazy, and it's kind of tapered out at around $70, $80. So I think right now the people that got in early and have sold for either sold their profit or maybe just panic sold. But at this point now, it seems like people are kind of just waiting to start that and play that game and earn those HC tokens. Let's talk about the initial token distribution. They have it on their white paper. Summarizing it up, my spreadsheet, 20% are going to the team, venture capital funds, 50% ultimately to the players, and 30% to the ecosystem. And so, comparing it to the other team games I've looked at, this is actually one of the lowest percentages allocated to the team and venture capital funds, and the highest to the players. So and by players, it's the in-game rewards and also staking. So yeah, there's a lot of chances for the players to earn, which is great. One thing to note is that even though there is a lower allocated token for the team and venture capital funds, which again was 20%, it's a combination of this developer reward and pre-mined. There does not seem to be any kind of lockup schedule, at least nothing stated on their white paper. So, that may have contributed to their early drop in price just because the team was able to sell their tokens right away. Looking at the HC token kind of buy and sell levers, within the game, it seems as if really the biggest thing is you're going to need to spend the HC token in order to upgrade your NFTs to make them stronger. As I mentioned earlier, they have that chart. So that's going to be costing HC every time, and it gets exponentially larger as you upgrade. Apart from that, they don't really talk about if you need to use HC tokens to upgrade your characters. There's not much info on that. However, what this game has developed that a lot of these other projects we looked at have not yet is their DAO, and that's going to be probably the biggest reason to buy or hold the Hashland Coin token. So if you go to their website, there's a DAO section, and they show you right here there's over $1.5 million currently stored in their DAO, and you can see underneath there's this personal reward section. So basically, holding this HC token will enable you to earn a portion of the Bitcoin mining and the supply of HC that's being deposited into this DAO. So the team created a Medium post to talk a little more in detail about the DAO. They initially put in 1.4 million BUSD, but in addition, what's happening is 20% of the output of the BTC mining machine, their BTC mining machine, will get distributed into the DAO, and 20% of the HC that the player recharges in the game also gets put in the DAO. And by recharges, I'm pretty sure they mean spent. So every time you're spending your HC in game, 20% of that is coming into this DAO, which is great because it kind of creates a circular economy for the token. So we can't really talk about the team because there is no team. And I kind of get it because these NFTs are pretty much securities since they're associated with a Bitcoin hash rate. So I can see why the team wants to remain anonymous. But of course, from an investor perspective like us, that creates that extra risk because it's very easy for the team to rug pull if they so desire, and there's no repercussions if that were to happen. Going to their partners, they have a lot of, they have full back and by Binance, it seems, and all their top 8 partners listed are all exchanges or wallets. So they're at least going to have that kind of exposure pretty quickly on either the centralized exchange or these decentralized exchanges. They are audited by Certic, which is good. You can see the documentation down here. Last thing to talk about are the social channels. Twitter's the best to get updates, and as well as Discord. They'll kind of post everything on Discord as well. Taking a look, so Twitter has around 88,000 followers, Telegram 106, Discord 11,000. Despite having a pretty high amount of Telegram followers, there's pretty good conversation going on in their Telegram chat. It's not spammed with random bots too much. And Discord, I tried asking some questions. It's a little hard to get a response, but maybe I just asked bad questions. I don't know. But at the least, if you don't have Twitter, you can use Discord to get those updates. All right, let's summarize really quick. Pros. This is a really cool, unique use case for these NFTs, which, being tied to Bitcoin mining is going to provide income regardless of the success of the game. And I really think this kind of setup is going to be the future of NFTs, because why would you want an NFT that's just a collectible and doesn't produce income? Like, if you could have both, of course you're going to want to go with something that produces income and is a collectible. Also, their token price, it's dropped really far below their IDO levels. So it could be a good value play, especially if a lot of that selling pressure has gone away. The last thing is the DAO that they've created, and the potential to earn both Bitcoin and HC tokens is really going to encourage people to hold their HC long term, especially because that DAO is always going to be producing income as the game gets successful, because a portion of that money spent is going into the DAO. Cons, there really isn't much documentation for both the BTC mining and the game itself. So I'm really excited. Luckily, the game's coming out soon, so it's going to be interesting to get into that and see how that whole game economy works. But again, you're always going to be earning Bitcoin regardless of what happens in the game, so it's pretty cool. The other thing is that there's an anonymous team, which of course is always going to increase the chance of a rug pull, because there's no way to find the team or to get that money back. But yeah, overall, I'm really excited about this game. They're doing something very different, which is cool to see. And yeah, I look forward to hopping in and playing. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and we'll keep in touch.